Alrighty, we are back at it doing ink transfer drawings. And what I'm doing right now is rolling ink out on a sheet of plexiglass, trying to get a nice even coat, which I think I've done. By the way, my name is Mark Zimmerman. I am here or at Sanford Arts on video, or at Sanford Hospital on video, through the work and funding of Sanford Arts. So if you see Sanford Arts hanging around here, give them a shout out. Tell them thank you. So I've got a puppy at my feet too. Boy, she has been a pest. Got that sheet of ink rolled out there, and I'm going to put a sheet of paper over top of that. And looks like I'm going to need to get some tape here. I don't want the paper to move, so I'm put it over the ink and tape it down. Just giving myself a little tab on that tape to work with. I meant to do that before I turned the camera on, but can't remember everything, can I? Underneath there, that ink is inside that little rectangle of tape, and I can feel that tape with my pen. Maybe, there it is. And I can drag that pen along the edge of that tape. There we go. So the ink is inside there. What I'm going to do is draw and rub on the back of this paper, and that transfers ink to the front. And that's really what I'm after. I'm going to just do a yellow coneflower. Alright, so I'm looking at a photograph. I could move that in here. You could, I think, see some of that anyway on camera. So I'm putting, not sure, my knowledge of botany is such that I don't even know what it is I'm drawing right now. These things, whatever they I'm sure they have a name. The brown part. I know my colors. So there's a cone here, thus the name, Coneflower. Alrighty, time for some petals. I do know the name of those. You'll notice I keep my hand in the air when I draw. If I lay it down or touch the back of that paper, I transfer ink to the front, and I want to just transfer it where I want it. I'm kind of picky about where that happens, so I'm just going to not randomly put my hand down. I think you can see that pup. Her name is Cleo. I think you can see her. She's right down here. Chewing her bone on top of my feet, because then she's pretty sure she has my attention. And she likes attention. She's a normal pup. Actually, she's an extra sweet pup. What are you doing now? Not that I don't trust her, but she's only 4 months old and I don't trust her. And then the simplest of stems, and the leaves are going to all be off. They're down lower on the flower. The head of the flower sticks up quite a ways above the there we go. Now, come back and add a little shadow there. I can touch it with my finger too, and that transfers a little ink. Little shadow here. Little shadow there. More of a shadow here. Quite a shadow here. Tiny shadow there. I think I want a pretty straight line. I might actually grab a square and put one in that's square. There we go. It's sometimes called a prairie coneflower. I'm just going to put a little ridge way out here. And let's see, the light's kind of coming this way, so I could make some shadows on the ridge. And maybe shadow that with just some flatter tone that I get by rubbing. Ooh, that skinny of my finger's fat. Now, I think I'm just going to indicate that we got some grass down in here. And create a contrast between the light stem and the dark of the grass here. So changing the value from dark value to light value and making something stand out. Right now it doesn't stand out too much because there's no dark value on the other side of that stem, but we'll get there. Just suggesting that we got some grass blowing in the wind. And there you can kind of start to see that stem sticking out because of the contrast, the difference between the dark on either side of the stem. Peeking at my camera while I draw, just making sure it's rolling. Every now and then I do one of these and I think I pushed that button, but I'm wrong. I don't get much credit for that. just a little shadow here too, and a little shadow here. And let's sneak a peek and see what I have going on underneath there. Probably good enough. I'd say so. So I'm going to take the tape off, take my plexiglass plate away, and do some painting. You'll notice that it came out backwards. I don't know if you can see too much of the plate, but everything is backwards. I think you can see that the stem was on the right side, now it's on the left. Also switched my light source. It was coming from the right, now it's coming from the left, and I should probably keep that in mind as I paint. Let's put a little yellow up here, and a little green on the other side. I want that kind of a limey green, so I didn't even rinse my brush between. There we go. There's some green in the brown too. I'm going to come back with, see what color I have brown here. Yeah, that looks pretty good, except it's dark, so I'm going to dip it in the water, move it around. And I can see that I got that side darker than I wanted. And I have a simple solution for that. I'm going to come back with some Kleenex, the watercolorist's friend, and just pick it up until it's out of my way. Back to that yellow. And I could do this too. That'll confuse me because I'm looking at it backwards. Get a pretty good shadow if I put my arm there, don't I? Kind of odd to paint with a camera hanging right over your left shoulder, but I'm getting better at it. So there are other colors in that yellow too. So, ooh, that's potent orange. Let's pick that up and get that down in here a little bit. There's some shadows in here too. Let's just get rid of some of this. Dry my brush off, pick it up, put it over there. There's some shadows. See if I can find a purple that's not terribly dark. When I work with kids, they're all sure the shadows are black, but only the really, really, really dark, deep ones are black. Promise you. So I'm going to take some purple, drop it in there, and I might even take some purple. And while I have purple, I think, actually, nah, let's not do that. Let's get a bigger brush though. And let's give ourselves a sunny prairie day, high plains day. I wish the little dog wouldn't leave her chew toys under my feet. If I suddenly tip over, you'll you'll know why. Ooh, got a nasty little spot there that's way too dark. Let's pick up a little more of that purple. See if I can get it not so dark this time. There we go. Looks about right. I'm just going to set that back with a bit of a shadow on that distant ridge. And I've got a puddle over here I can pick up by drying my brush off a little bit. I think I want to come back with a little bit smaller brush and put in some highlights on that brownish, whatever those things are I don't know the name of. Oh, and back to the big brush. Not sure why I'm painting around that stem, because I think I'm going to actually create that stem with just a little bit of yellow on top of the green. Yellow is kind of a component of green. Yellow and blue make green. So I'm going to put this in here. And I'm going to take that same green and bring it right over the stem for now. And a little more paint. I was actually kind of hoping that ridge line would bleed into my green a little bit. I like that little purple coming down and in there. I'm going to come back with some of that blue I had. And this time I am going to stay off this stem. Maybe a bit much. I like that. Switch to a slightly smaller brush. Come back with this yellow in here. Yellow up in here too. Now, I always sign them in pencil, so I need to dream up a title for this. Signature and date 2020. So Prairie with Coneflower I called it. And let that dry, and if you like it, somewhere around where you're watching the video, there's a stack of these ink transfer drawings, and you can help yourself. So if you like this one, or you think you like this one, but you dig through the stack, you find another one you like, take it. Thanks Sanford Arts for it, and hope you enjoyed watching. Bye-bye.